Dyspraxic Me is a charity that supports dyspraxic young adults to develop skills that people who are dyspraxic might find more challenging, such as cooking and keeping fit. Supporting with transition from childhood to adulthood, we meet regularly in London and our programme is led by our members who are all dyspraxic.
Hi Jess, you okay?
So I am dyspraxic and I set up the charity after receiving discrimination in the workplace and realised there was a lack of support for young adults when leaving education and within education. We were funded by Sports England to deliver regular fitness classes for dyspraxic young adults. To dyspraxic people, gyms are scary, overwhelming places that do not come across as welcoming. We are aware that dyspraxia is not that well known, and in my experience of trying to access a gym, my access requirements were not understood. For example, when I asked a gym if there was any opportunity for a quieter time, I was told that they don't turn off the music as that would not be fair to other gym goers. Also, regularly when I join a gym class, people are helpful for the first few sessions, then after a few sessions, because I easily forget movement and sequencing, I am told to watch.
Good. Remember, we're following the RPM on the screen.
We've been working with a gym instructor called Phillie to run regular spin classes, and we've also created visual narratives and films what to expect when you come to a spin class and the gym. The aim of this training film is to make gyms more accessible for dyspraxic gym goers. During this film, you'll hear about Dyspraxic Me and my thoughts on how to make gyms more accessible. We're also going to hear from Dr. Judith, lecturer at the University in Surrey, and Phillie, who has been our gym instructor.
Hello, so my name's Judith and I am a senior lecturer in psychology at the University of Surrey. But I am also the parent of an adult who has dyspraxia, or DCD, developmental coordination disorder. So dyspraxia is a lifelong neurodevelopmental condition that affects the organisation of coordinated movement. People with DCD may often find that their movements are less accurate, slower, and more difficult to control, which can make activities, everyday activities such as dressing, handwriting, cooking, and learning new complex motor tasks, such as you would find within a gym environment, or learning to drive. Those kind of areas are really difficult for DCD. In my research, I find that nearly everybody I speak to talks about their very unpleasant experiences in physical exercise at school, where they were made to feel out of the group. And I think those feelings are very, very important that we address, and we need to address those before we can get people into the gym. But then there are also other issues related to DCD. When you come into a gym, you're learning pretty complex movements that are usually within fairly complex sequences. And people with DCD perhaps have a slightly different view of their own bodies and where their limbs are in relation to the rest of themselves or into the equipment, which can mean that you can start learning things. It takes more time to learn an activity. It can take longer for you to become confident with the equipment. And all these things can lead to difficulties and slowness in learning, can lead to embarrassment and also frustration. You're sitting in a gym class wondering why you can't take part equally as the rest of the group, and you're very harsh often on yourselves. Another issue is when you come into a gym but it's often very noisy, it's got lots of bright lighting, it's usually very busy, there's lots of people around, and that makes it really difficult if you've got motor coordination difficulties to be able to focus on what you're learning. Because there's very little understanding of DCD, so even though it is 5% of the population, which is similar prevalence to ADHD and dyslexia, there's much less known about DCD. People have tenderly heard the name now, dyspraxia, but tend to not know how it manifests and how difficult it can be for people learning. You just think it's a movement, and movement doesn't really matter. And then there's this big social aspect that people, I think, feel very intimidated. If you're going to feel you're going to be judged by perhaps picking things up more slowly or being less coordinated, I think that's a massive issue for us to deal with.
Hey Jess. So you've never been on the bike before, right? Will we stand with our feet? Dyspraxia affects motor coordination, spatial awareness, memory, and sometimes social confidence. Many neurodivergent people experience difficulty following complex instructions, have sensory sensitivities, for example, noise, lighting, and crowds, anxiety in unfamiliar or fast-paced environments, and face challenges with coordination, balance, or sequencing movements. Now, if you get on that for me, please, if you don't mind. Traditional gyms often unintentionally exclude these users due to overstimulation, unclear guidance, and lack of supportive instruction. Making gyms more accessible isn't about lowering standards. It's about removing unnecessary barriers so more people can participate confidently and safely. That's perfect, yeah, keep moving the legs, maybe at a slower pace just to get warmed up, get the knees warmed up properly. Ready to go for a warm up? Now, imagine walking into a gym where everything feels overwhelming. Loud music, unfamiliar machines, fast-paced instructions, and no clear guidance. Now imagine trying to coordinate your body in that space while also processing all of that at once. For many dyspraxic and neurodivergent people, this is the reality of going to the gym. Now when you're ready, let's hold the lower handlebars so we can really get involved, putting a little bit of a bicep curl in there, pressing down like a push-up, and we're gonna ride as fast as possible in 3, 2, 1. Let's go fast, let's go. We have classes, support group activities to feel less intimidated, exercising amongst people alike. But this is still difficult in fast-paced classes, with little time to process movements or even fear of being judged. These barriers can make gyms feel inaccessible, even if they aren't intended to be. And get ready for a standing climb in 3, 2, 1, let's go.
I think it's really important that we ask people who are dyspraxic to take part in the study so that we can find out what it could be that we do. I think we need to raise awareness about DCD. I think that would be a really good start so that people who are running gyms can become more aware of how to train people with DCD, to understand that you can't just say something once or twice or 5 times to a person with DCD. It takes a lot longer for them to learn.
We can slow down and turn that blue dial all the way down.
So there's also issues for individuals with DCD with the sensory information. I think that's something that we can quite easily fix within a gym actually. So not so much noise, not so much distraction, softer lighting, more awareness of the sensory issues that some individuals with DCD may have and may find really distracting.
Gyms can be more accessible with clear, simple instructions, provide step-by-step guidance for exercises, use visual aids, demonstrations, or written instructions. Staff training to understand dyspraxia and neurodiversity, patience, clarity, and encouragement making a huge difference. Sensory, friendly options offering quieter hours, reduce music, volume, and create low stimulation zones. Flexible workouts, allowing people to go at their own pace, avoiding pressure to keep up. Inclusive classes for individuals to adapt, so movements can be broken down, repeated, and modified. Safe and supportive environment that promotes a culture where people feel comfortable asking questions and making mistakes. When people feel safe and supported, they're more likely to stay active, improving confidence, mental health, and long-term well-being. Accessibility benefits everyone. By making small, thoughtful changes, gyms can become spaces where everyone, regardless of how their brain works, can feel welcome, capable, and empowered. Accessibility isn't a special feature. It should be the standard.
Gyms can be more accessible by being completely open with having a visual narrative, using footage of all parts of the gym from the outside, the entranceway, the welcome, and what to say and what to do when you get to the gym, and also the changing rooms, so that people can see beforehand what to expect in terms of sensory aspects of the whole gym experience. We want the spoilers, we want to know everything, to be able to talk to someone before a session to raise any concerns and questions. For gym staff to understand dyspraxia so they know they may have shown someone 10 times how to use a piece of equipment, but that does not mean they will remember. For staff to support by being on hand to set up the equipment and provide guidance and affirmation that you're using it correctly. As dyspraxic people don't tend to have awareness of their own body in relation to space.